if it's Sunday where you're at. Some of our global international friends, you may be on to the next day already. So hello, wherever you are. I'm going to give a few minutes for people to come in. I just want to welcome you, say hi. How you doing? Welcome you to a little sip session we're going to have here. Hopefully you have your Stormie Grace Astrology soulmate mug. This is for us. This is for us. This has been a long time coming. We gather, we chat, we talk. We've formed a community here. I think that's important. I think that we have started to have more people around who are, I'm watching you guys in the chat, or I'll watch you at other astrology events and you know each other. Like we have a community here, and I think that's precious and beautiful and sacred, and I love that, and this is for us, y'all. So hopefully you've got yours. If you don't, you can get it in the merch section, the store just below this video, just below any of the videos, which is cool too, because it's also, one of the things about my business, and one of the things about this channel, is I've had an opportunity to just grow up in public with you guys, and that has been the most real thing. So as the business is taking a different direction, or we're adding in another platform or another element, or trying to see if something different works, I do that all out here with you in your face. And sometimes it's a mess, and sometimes it's like, okay, that is a terrible idea, and other times it's really neat to be here with you guys and grow and add and change. And you guys should see me on the back end adjusting this business plan, and go. And let me just say that if you have a business and you don't have a business plan, get a business plan together. That is my favorite thing to ask people. What about your business plan? So getting to update the business plan, because we've created something beautiful here, and it gets to grow. So I will forever be really, really thankful for each of you who, whether you're new or you've been around for a while, if you've been around since the beginning, woo, thank you. We have done some growing over here, so just pleasure to still have you. So I don't want to hold you too long, but I do want to have some conversation about what's going on up there in the cosmos, in the sky, what it means, where we're at. I see you guys in the chat down here, and let me just say hello and welcome to each of you. I'm going to keep talking so that we keep moving though as well, okay? And there will be there'll be breaks to sip. But I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the sky. Most specifically, I am a really big fan of understanding and interpreting the energy of the outer planet retrogrades. Now, the most recent outer planet that we had go retrograde was Uranus, who's over in Taurus, and Uranus took this retrograde just on August 19th. And when Uranus takes a retrograde, in case you don't know the Uranus cycle, Uranus goes retrograde every year, and it goes retrograde for about 4 or 5 months, and it will only retrograde 4 degrees. So it's not a fast moving planet at all, whether it's moving forward or backwards, it's not quick moving. But I do think because it is so impactful, and because of where it is at this particular time, it is important for each of us to understand and really get a grasp on what this outer planet retrograde means and brings to our table. So like I said, Uranus took its retrograde August 19th at 14 degrees of Taurus. It is going to go all the way through the retrograde cycle, and we'll see it come direct on January 18th, where it will come direct at 10 degrees of Taurus. So between 14 degrees of Taurus and 10 degrees of Taurus, I really would like you to identify that in your own personal charts and see what you're really working on, what are really at those particular degrees. If you're newer to astrology, or you've even been doing it for a while, but you're not sure how to identify where this particular transit is active on your chart, I have a video. I'll put a card up above here, but also if you click into my description box, you can find the transit video to show you exactly where these degrees are on your personal chart, so that you can do the learning based on your own chart. The other thing to keep in mind is anything that is at, between 14 and 18 degrees, and then as we go along, it's going to be about 10 to like 15 degrees of Taurus. You're going to want to pay attention, because it will mean that Uranus is in aspect to it in some way, shape, or form, or any other planets, points, angles, asteroids, fixed stars, whatever you're working with that happen to be between 10 and 14 degrees, it will be in aspect to this Uranian retrograde energy, okay? Now, first, in a very global way, because we're talking about an outer planet which hits us all, right? It is very big. That is a societal planet for sure. Uranus comes with this energy that is about, we call it surprise. or we call it unexpected, out of nowhere, you know, oh, 14 degree and it's sitting on my sun today. So we call it these things, we use these words, and that's what it can feel like in human form and experience. But really what Uranus is coming is to break down, break up, shock through, send a lightning bolt to what needs to get moving, because maybe something has been stuck or something needs a twist or a turn of events. So as Uranus comes in with this energy and brings his planetary body and energy to the table, we need to remember that that's kind of it. You know, as Uranus is up in orbit, the rest of the planets are like living our best life, they're doing their thing, you know, and Uranus is orbiting like this. So it is kind of this energy that when we think about it, that's what it needs to create in our lives. We need to get out of our own orb a little bit. We need to get out of what has been here, because it is not as efficient and effective and intuitive and genius and connected as it needs to be. So when you are thinking about Uranus, whether it be in the sky and in this transit, or you think about Uranus in your chart, this is the area in your personal chart where you do something different, right? You're a little bit out of the mold, out of the norm, in how maybe you handle these things, think about these things. Certainly you probably do this area of your chart different than your parents or your family members did, and that is okay. But in a global space, what we've been able to see since Uranus has moved into Taurus in general, so we've had a really big shakeup to conversations of resources, of currency, of value out in our worlds, our farms, things that happen to do with farming, that have to do with the earth. It is almost like we send a lightning bolt down to earth, right? And if you've ever seen lightning hit the earth, it is really quite a sight to behold. But the other way that I think about it is because Uranus comes with this lightning shaking kind of energy, it is also like we have shaken a mountain. And if you have never seen an earthquake, been a part of an earthquake, it is also really a sight to behold. And that's a little bit of what we've got going on in the outer world, but it also reflects in the inner. But in the outer world, this is where I think we get to really celebrate the magic of transiting Uranus in its movement, because it has been in an outer fashion that we have been able and been pushed into a position personally and internally in our societies and our communities to shake, to change, to get out of what has been and what has been comfortable. So we've been put in this position. So we have been put in a situation where essentially maybe inside we were happy with what was going on. You know, it was even like, I don't know, this is the norm. This is what's usual. And an external circumstance comes around, presents reason enough why we are going to have to change. And that is that the external circumstances are changing. And I think that is profound. And I want you to breathe that in with me, because that is the theme of what I believe that it changes in our personal lives as well. External changes come. We're put in a position internally to need to reevaluate the changes that have to be made so that we can meet the conditions of the external situations that have been presented to us. And this is not always negative. It is not always negative. I know we talk a lot about the 2020, you know, we had going on in 2020, what we had going on, and external circumstances brought situations to each of our tables, and we had to figure out what we were going to do with that in our work lives. What were we going to do with that? Were we going to start our own businesses? Were our companies going to let us work from home? What's happening with these children being at home? All of these circumstances and conditions were brought right to our front door. And really the question is, do I have the internal, which doesn't just mean when we're talking about society, it doesn't just mean when we're talking about society, it's also like, does my country, does my community, do we have the internal fortitude to withstand the external pressure and changes that have come around us? And so this is where we see communities reshaping. But internally, it also asks the question, what am I curious about? What have I been feeling that now that this external pressure has been put on me, I feel like I have this curiosity, I have this interest, I want to go on this adventure from the inside out. Now, what is so brilliant about it? When we look at it in a personal way, what it means for us is that the society, the world has brought the external circumstances, and internally, as we need to respond to that, we may each in our own way be feeling a call towards some new adventure or some new way of doing things. And as Uranus was direct. The external items, the external need, the external desire is coming at us, right? So it's almost can feel like, oh my gosh, this is too much. What's happening? And our insides are not in the correct alignment just yet to meet all of the circumstances. And I'm talking about if you are spiritually fit, you are healthy, you are living your best life, you have done that shadow work, even you have come into a position of realizing, okay, my insides need to adjust this way in order to meet these external circumstances and grow. And so some of those things, I want to ask you what this has looked like, what this has been like for you, where external opportunities have presented themselves and maybe you were trying to move towards them and you couldn't, right? There's different money making opportunities and you want to move towards it and you can't quite figure out how to do it. Maybe, yes, okay, it's been pointed out to me, I need to start my own business, I need to have my own thing, I need to monetize something so that I have my resources, Taurus, in order, but I can't quite figure out how to get that done. I can't quite make that work, right? It's this energy with this Uranus vibration where I want to do something. Yes, there's an uprooting that is happening, but maybe while Uranus, I made that up, while Uranus was direct, I couldn't quite figure out how to make it happen, even though the impetus for change was absolutely there. Okay, so now this brings me to the Uranus retrograde. So now from August 19th all the way until January, I want you to listen, to live, to breathe in the understanding that now that Uranus is retrograde, this is the time where you've seen it. You've seen the opportunity has externally come to your vantage and your vision point. And I know that because Taurus is an earth energy. Our earth energies work in the material plane. You can touch it, you can taste it, you can feel it. If you don't have it, you're not participating, right? Earth energies keep it real. You can see it. Those who have do. That is the mind frame of earth energies. So it's in your space already. And as Uranus is retrograde, now that the opportunity has been presented to you, whether it's healing, business, money, food, any number of things, Uranus retrograde will help you heal from the inside out, to get your insides in alignment, to be able to meet those conditions externally and participate in that new adventure. Right? Because here's the thing, like I think about Kevin Hart when I don't know if anybody's seen Kevin Hart, but when he says, I wasn't ready, that is a Uranus. That's Uranus direct. That's Uranus retrograde. You were trying, you were ready. The impetus is here. The opportunity is here. The vision is here. The curiosity is here, and you couldn't do it because you wasn't ready. And during Uranus retrograde, you're going to get ready. And I also think that Uranus retrograde will help you actually be able to move some of that readiness forward. You will see that the possibility of shifting your insides that can now meet the conditions out there becomes available. Now, for some people, some of the getting the insides in alignment has needed new teachers, has needed the honesty to identify what's up with us, where I'm falling short, maybe where I don't have those skills. And it is intense. It is intense. It is an intense understanding of where I have this uniqueness, where I have this genius to give to the world or to participate, and the understanding that by doing what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, I maybe can't access it, right? I need help. I need help to bust out and to be able to do that different. So, as my insides, as I get honest and my insides come into more alignment, it makes beautiful sense, and it makes a beautiful vision for how I'm going to internally come into alignment and be able to, on the other side of this, walk that thing into a reality. And I mean, I think that I don't think it's the only important thing, but I do think it makes a case for a profound example that when we talk about finances, when we talk about money, right? This idea, and I see it online all the time. Oh, do my 6-week program. And to be clear, I'm not putting anybody down. Hustle, coach, do what you do, develop your programs. I think it's the best thing ever. But I see it, and it's this idea of take my course, do this, and you'll be able to step into the money the way that I have, right? And that's great because external circumstances for each of us, but especially financially, have maybe put us in a place to question things like finances. And we're looking for new ideas. We're looking for new teachers to take us to that next level, to help us develop in that way, so that yes, we can have that financial freedom and that financial experience and the freeness to create, right? But internally, this would bring an awakening to say, well, here's the blocks that I have. Oh, Amazon must be here. Here's the blocks that I have that will keep me from accessing my own magic and my own fears, misunderstandings, misalignments around money so that I can't have it, right? So during the Uranus retrograde, I get to dig in, I get to look at that. And as I'm slowly looking at that, what I'm doing is I'm releasing that. I'm releasing that space. You know, I don't have that fear. It's starting to get less and less and less. And what becomes available to me is an opportunity to hear new ideas and influence, apply that, and change my financial life. So that's just one example, but I think that this happens for us in relationships as well. But ultimately, during the Uranus retrograde, what I think each of us will definitely be called to do is to come to that awareness of what is going on down there, maybe what internally is stopping us from chasing and having and participating in the flow of that external awareness, that external circumstance that is available to us, and a willingness, a genuine call from our higher selves to have the internal change to participate, you know? So this is where it ties in for me in the new moon forecast. And if you haven't had a chance to check out the new moon forecast, it is up. It's in the September 2021 playlist, so you can find it there and see what the moon is already about, and I really break it down in there. But also, because this new moon is in Virgo, another earth energy, and it is in a gorgeous harmonizing trine to this Uranus energy over in Taurus while Uranus is retrograde, you know, this is a moon where I think we really get the opportunity to keep it real, which is why I think, and the moon today right now is in Gemini, so I'm feeling like, let me talk to my friends, you know, but I think we get the opportunity to really keep it real and get some new ideas for this new adventure. And so the new moon in Virgo is going to help us identify, discern, and create this space of asking for fresh perspective, asking for fresh energy, a way forward. How can I progress? And what we'll do, what each of us, I think, do when we call, we ritual, we speak in to the new moon or the full moon energy. But when we speak to this Virgo energy, what each of us, I believe, will do is ask for the grace and the power to have sacred eyes, sacred ears, and the gift and the power of discernment. And not just discernment about our communities. Yes, discernment about that. Do I need to be talking about that? Do I need to be saying that? What is my part in that? Of course. But I think ultimately a intuitive, psychic, high aware discernment of ourselves, right? We're going to get real. These are earth energies. We're going to get real. We're going to look at how I'm really showing up, what's really in my life. Do I really have these resources? Do I really have the steadiness of my insides? Am I as healthy as I can be? Am I the very best that I can be? And that is personal to absolutely every person out there, right? Because you know what? I'm going to tell you what, at 39 today, if you'd looked at me, you look at my life today and you're like, Stormie's pretty freaking healthy over there, right? Okay, but if you looked at me at 27, you'd be like, I don't know what she's doing with her life. So this is such a personal thing to answer that question of how am I showing up, and is this the very best that I have to offer? And sometimes what I think we're going to run into with this new moon and being enshrined to this Uranian energy that is having us question our insides and our alignments and our values. What are my new values? Those have been shaken up, right? What do I really value right now in my life? It gives a great space and it gives a great opportunity for us to shoulder and be shown the awareness of where we have cracks, where we have crevices, where we are broken, where we are whole, where we have got what we've got going on, and then to get into that, to find the people, places, things, resources, Taurus, maybe go back to some healing, go back to the pain, go back to the break, go back to the success, go back to the idea and provide solution right there, right? Like, you get some solution going right there. And this moon provides an internal, this is a new moon. Because the sun and the moon, our luminaries, are together, our insides and our outsides are together, it means that absolutely anything is possible. This is the space where we sit in the soil of magic, where we get to actually see if we can quiet down and be willing to ask for some help, be willing to listen, be willing to see. I think that we find that this is the space that the divine has been calling to us each all year long and saying, okay, no, I want you to have that external experience. And no, I want you to have that internal experience. I want peace for you. I want joy, right? I want creativity. I want healing around these relationships. I want you to have that person that you love, right? But it also, at this moon, makes it a little bit easier in the transition to address where we've got to discern, where we've got something that is not working quite as well and it's spilling into the rest of our lives, and to correct that. Virgo is a fixer. Earth energies are fixers, but Virgo is like the fixer, right? Because they got all the answers. So we have this opportunity at this moon to find creative solutions to old ideas, to not just try and navigate around the pain, understanding it's there, not just navigate around success, right? Because sometimes we show up and we have a fear of success, and it's like, so what is it that is bleeding into the rest of our lives and stopping our insides from getting in alignment with that external experience, right? And instead, where can we lift? I'm telling you, if you are out there living your best life, your money is right, your relationships are right, your relationship with you is right, your skin is glowing, you are just where you have divinely decided that you want to be and have been led to. This new moon, I believe, is talking to you as well. Because the other thing that Virgo is absolutely key for is service. You have done it. You have found your way out. And when I say the way out, I'm saying the way out of the human condition, because baby, the human condition is rough. It is beautiful. It is gorgeous, but it is rough. So if you have found your way out, if you have found a way to navigate and get connected to your insides so that you can have that external experience, I think that this new moon puts you in a position to maybe not be the one searching in that way, but maybe you become the searchable teacher. And that doesn't mean you have to go start a whole 6-week class on how you figured your life out. And if you do, I support that as well. But maybe people in your community, people around you, for the people who have found the divine flow, I think that oftentimes what happens is we become natural resources. You become this natural spring of safety, of hope, of inspiration, and of wisdom to pass on to our fellows. Because the fact is, where you have figured out and you made it, probably someone showed you how to figure out how to make it and be there. And there is some source of service and motivation in your life that helps you stay there, right? Humans don't tend to just make it on our own, get well, get right, and then we abandon each other. We stay well in some kind of community with some kind of other human motivation. It's the closest to the divine that we will ever get, is experiencing the divine in drag, right? That's each of the humans that get to be surrounded around us. So I just want to offer this for you to think about what this new moon is bringing to your table. Of course, it's astrology, right? Like, this is intuition plus astrology, but the astrology has me telling you, please get your chart, whether it be from me, whether it be from astro.com, Cafe Astrology, whoever you're practicing with. Get your chart so that you can see where these aspects are happening for you, and you can focus very specifically into the area of nuance and see where this energy is going to be asking you to grow, where it's going to be bringing to you something from your attention. I can tell you in my chart, it's a first house, ninth house. Man, I'm going to get to have a really interesting experience with, and I am already. If you've been been around my channel for a minute, if you've been around for the last couple weeks, you know, starting to play. I'm playing again. You can always tell when I'm in play season. It's usually around Virgo time. Starting to play with what other content can we put out here? What does my community really need? And how do I embody that in a way that allows me to authentically play and connect and grow and expand? If you guys have seen the stories, which I didn't know anything about those like a week ago, I've put up a couple stories. I've played with TikTok. I've done things on Pinterest. It has been a growing situation, which encompasses, right, this idea of I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to have that external experience. And I can tell you that something for me that really came alive as Uranus went retrograde was the understanding that I was so afraid of, okay, well, what are people going to think? Is everybody going to leave if I try something different? If I show who I am right now in my life? Is this, you know, all of these things that could come up, which what does it do? Earth signs keep it real. They come and they ask you the question on your table. What's the nature of your insides? What's the conditions of your insides? So that we can get those in alignment so that you can have an experience. But also, what's the nature of your information, right? Do you have the skills? Do you have the skills and the information to practically, Taurus, apply that and have a new experience? So in your life, as you're listening to me, I hope that you are hearing one human talk to another, right? We're growing out here. This is a big damn deal. We are growing, but we are being offered some cosmic opportunities. If we look at the possibilities available with them to have these little revolutions, sometimes Uranus can be associated with rebellion. Right? And we don't always need a rebellion, because a rebellion can tear everything down. And we can see rebellion right now on the global stage. We can see that that's happening. But there is also personally and on the global stage a space where it's not rebellion, it's actually revolution, right? Like we come up in a different way and it gets to be in a different form. So wherever you are, whatever that revolution is, I hope it's profound, and I hope you are in a state, in a place, in a way where you're able to participate with it, you know, because it is great to have this idea of having a different financial life. But if there's no movement, if there's no alignment, if we're not getting into it to have that experience, it's not going to happen. We cannot just sit and pray our way into new experiences. It's prayer plus action, a prayer plus a willingness to grow, or reflection, whatever you call that word, prayer, right? These things are important. Now, before we go, I do want to talk about how all of this is happening, and we've got a couple other aspects that are also available to support us. At this new moon that this is happening on the 6th of September, what's also happening on the exact same day is the ruling planet of this particular moon, which is Mercury, is going to be at 10 degrees of Libra. But Mercury at this time is slowed down because it enters pre-retrograde shadow time. Okay, so there's 4 parts in the retrograde cycle. There's pre-retrograde, retrograde, direct, post-retrograde. So when you're in pre-retrograde, or a planet moves into pre-retrograde, it begins to slow down to get prepared for that retrograde. So Mercury here at 10 degrees of Libra, note that on your chart. What's on your mind? What are you thinking of? What consciously is coming to you, right? It's going to start to slow down. So it's this space like right before vacation, you know, you put in your paperwork to go on vacation and it's like, yeah, I'm going to be going on vacation in 2 weeks, but I still got to go to work. It's kind of that energy. But Mercury at this point is slowed down, and that is important because it means in our minds, you are granted cosmic energy to participate in. It's not going to make anything happen. The synchronicity is available to you to slow down, think, breathe, look honestly to what has or does not feel in balance to you mentally, right? We're looking for mental balance at this particular time, and Mercury is slowing down enough. Uranus is lighting up. Okay, are your insides what's going on with you internally? The moon's like, wait a minute, I'm going to help you with some discernment. Let's get really clear. Let's get magical, because anything's possible, baby. You want to grow, you want to go have that experience. I'm going to discern for you what is in the way. Uranus is going to help you get honest about seeing that. And now Mercury is slowed down to help you examine it. Mercury is opposing Chiron, who's in Aries and retrograde at this particular moon as well. So we can see it. It's out. We can feel it. You know, Chiron in Aries is the wound of the identity. Who am I? What am I? What am I doing? And when we get real honest about working with divine energy, sometimes you have no idea exactly the powerful powerhouse you're going to be next, because we just can't fully vision it. It's so much easier to see the past relationship. It's always been this way. So it's almost like we can't fully see it, even if it's new moon called to us, we can sense it, right? So when we have this Chiron in Aries and it's the wound of the identity. I don't know who I am. Is it okay for me to be this? How do I take this identity forward? And it's retrograde. Chiron is looking backwards. So the question here from Chiron is, well, who have you already been? Who have you already been? Are you done being that person? Right? Who have you already been? Can we celebrate some progress that you've made here? Right? Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be next? Right? What identity would you like to carry on this planet next? These are big questions, and it's in opposition to Mercury, who's over in Libra and thinking through what's in balance, what's out of balance, right? So what happens here with an opposition, the way that we resolve an opposition is you want to find what's in the middle, right? You have to integrate both sides, because if not, it just still feels like it's pulling. I can tell you I've definitely had some experience with that, right? Oh, wait, but I've already known this. Everybody likes this. I do this way. Okay, this will keep everybody. Everybody's happy. We're living our best lives, right? But wait a minute, hold on. There's this me over here that's kind of like, well, wait, I want to wear a cheetah dress, right? I want to wear a cheetah dress and talk about astrology. I want to move forward. I want to teach people how to, hold on. So we have a pulling. And so whatever your two pulls have been in your life between the identity, the me and the we, how do I take the me and put it in the we without losing that, right? You're going to integrate. Integrate is what we do with opposition. So at this time, as the revelation is happening, as the insight is happening, as the external opportunity is sitting here saying, yes, this is available, but I need you to recognize what inside is stopping this from happening, what's cracking leading into our lives that is stopping our insides from getting in alignment with the vision, and then take some action, right? I'm going to just give you an example. I know that there were some people who have wanted to work with and collaborate with me for a long time, and they just never asked. That's it, flat out, and that's fine. And one of them reached out just after, Uranus went retrograde. And this person said, look, you don't know me from Adam. I've been watching you. Maybe we can talk about a collaboration, right? But it took, from the lips of this person, weeks and weeks and weeks to finally get into internal alignment, to even ask, to even email and reach out. And of course, the answer was, okay, let's see if this works out, but probably yes, right? But it's that. It's the internal arrangement of acknowledging where maybe discerning where I'm not moving forward, but then also taking some action to grow and be able to have that external experience. So however you can relate or assimilate that in your life, this is so much of what's on the table for us at this particular time. And I think it's profound to also consider what is going on with the mind. Mercury is slowed down, giving us a delicious dish of space to slow and to recognize, okay? Last things. I don't want to hold you for too long. Last things is that because at this time we're going to pick up so much discernment, and there is so much awakening from the higher self, from the desire to not have mental or physical chaos anymore. This will be for some a time of shedding. I actually think for all of us in its own way, it's going to be a time for shedding. But some things, because these are earth energies, will be so much more abundantly like tangible in terms of loss. And here's what I can tell you, that my lived experience from my life, but also working with people, and really in this last year, working with a company that is much bigger. Like, it's a pretty big company, and I'm just tickled to death that they retain me. Like, that's very exciting. But there is this space in this place where I think we have to continue to understand the wisdom of our elders, that when someone is saying goodbye, it is a blessing. it is a blessing, even if we don't understand it at that time. That may be the very thing that was in the way from having us shift into this very authentic person energy that can have this external experience. And sometimes it also means, my beautiful friends, that sometimes you're the person that has to be left. And that is a blessing as well. What is happening as these energies come and we awaken and we mature as people is that the universe, whether we know it, call it, name it, is always trying to be in perfect balance, perfect flow. When things are not in flow, all of these interesting things start happening. Suddenly, Uranus, we broke up. Suddenly, I got fired, right? These are not suddenlies. They are not suddenlies. They have been out of alignment for a minute, and finally something comes, taps that energy, and breaks it apart. So this will be in order to internally shift, will be a time that people, places, and things will also fall out of our lives. It can be a time where you are walking away from something. Maybe you're walking away from that job. Maybe you're walking away from that person. Maybe you're walking away from debt, right? You're like, yep, I don't choose to do this anymore. It can be any one of these things. And this includes, this is a lunar energy. This will be a lunar event. So changes in family are huge. Changes in family are huge. So this could definitely be something that you are experiencing as well. And you know what I just want to share before I wrap this up is that the things that you are walking away from, especially when it comes to relationships, human relationships are divine and complicated and beautiful, right? But you know, if you don't have peace in the relationships that you are in, honestly taking the discerning look with this Virgo energy, a courageous look with Uranus in Taurus, a courageous look with Chiron in Aries, retrograde, going back over how you've been participating in your own chaos is really important. And understanding that the road for a minute as you make these changes may feel a little bit lonely, or it may feel like you don't know where to go next. You don't know if that next job's going to work out. Hold tight for a minute and evaluate and investigate, because people will be mad when you don't want chaos anymore and you move on. That's the nature of people. But also, there is a tribe of people, there is a financial situation, there is a job, there is a relationship with your elders that is high speed. It is high speed, it is divine, it is leveled up to where you need to be. Not to say that somebody else is a lower level, because everybody's at the level they need to be to do their lessons, right? But you may have leveled up, you may have changed, you may have fallen back, and you can't run with that leveled up crowd anymore, right? It's all going to be about proper positioning. It is all perfect. There is nothing in divine order that is a mistake. So where you land, I just want you to have the courage and the willingness to use this adventuresome, curious, discerning energy to have a new experience, but to understand that absolutely some things are going to fall out. They are going to fall out. Now, when Uranus does come out of retrograde, when we get to January, I can't wait to see who you are. I can't wait to see how you're hot and high stepping out there. You know, the demographic for me on this channel is between 25 and 40, and it's mostly women. And in that space, we're doing a lot of life. We're doing a lot of life. And my fellas that are out there, I love and enjoy and appreciate you as well. And you're doing a lot of life. But I can tell you, as a woman who's 39 today, when I look back with that Chiron retrograde in Aries, the identity I had 5 years ago, she can't do shit for me today besides help you, besides share my experience with you, besides be a file I can pull out and say, yep, this was my experience when I was here. Here's where I was spiritually. Here's where I was mentally. Here's where I was at developmentally. But that girl, she can't handle money like this. She can't handle my husband like this. She can't handle these beautiful children like this. So who and wherever you are, my beautiful friends, I just want to support you in your level up. I hope you're listening to content that helps you to level up. I hope you're listening to content and people around you all throughout the rest of the year that are trying to keep it real with you and are telling you if you're broken, if you're not moving, if you're broke, if you're afraid to go out in the world, if you're afraid of all of these things. I hope you are listening to content and surrounding yourself with people who are going to give you the encouragement to intuitively, to grow by becoming aware. Awareness in and of itself is beautiful, though, but you got to have a squad behind you and teachers behind you that also encourage you to become aware, but then to grow, to take action, because awareness is phenomenal. And I know a lot of people who know their traumas and dramas and nothing has changed for them, so whatever it is that you want for you, you like it, I love it. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I see some people. I know I got some people out there, my introverts and my loners. This moon's coming for you as well. The opportunities for advancement are available for you too, and it can be spiritual advancement. What are the lessons that you're here to learn? Are you learning them? Are you on par? And each of us as human beings knows it when we get into mental and internal chaos. And if you are done with mental and emotional chaos, we get to change. And it doesn't always mean it has to be drama and domestic violence. It can just be, I'm not sitting right. I've been getting up for 2-3 weeks and something in me is not sitting right. Involve someone else to help you get out of the seesaw, out of the overwhelm, out of the inherited and inherent blocks and baggage that we have, because I can see everything in this room. I can see everything, but I can't see me. I need someone else to help me look at me sometimes. So if that's where you're at, that's what you need. Hopefully you're connected to good astrologers, tarot people, therapists, family members. And if you don't have that, reach out. Look around for your resources, because they are there at this particular point. There's a lot of healing and transcendence that I think is available at this new moon and in this time as we're going to close out 2022, that I think is about getting us complete and being as whole as is possible. And for everybody, it is not going to look like you level up to being that multimillionaire this year. For some people, it absolutely is. And I can tell you, some of those people are in our community, my beautiful friends. You know what I mean? So we got some hustlers and movers. We've got people who are not in it for the money anymore. That's not a part of their journey today. That's not where they're at. They're supposed to be over here taking care of these things in this direction, and their spiritual growth makes them millionaires. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a lot going on this channel and in this community that I don't even know if you know is available to you. So reach out, put a comment underneath one of these videos and say, this is where I'm at. Please don't give us your drunkalog. Nobody wants to hear that right now. But tell us, where are you growing? What are you searching for? What are you looking for? We have a community of hustlers, humble hustlers, and I think any one of us is available to say, okay, here's my experience with that, maybe try this, right? What I have gotten to see from you guys for years now in our comment section is that when somebody is asking for help, somebody shows up with a willingness to answer. We don't typically have a super nasty comment section, and I'm really grateful for that. So I feel like I've just said so much. You can tell the moon is in Gemini because I was in my word magic and my feels. But I'm grateful to each of you who is here. I'm grateful to each of you who showed up live. I sipped not at all from my little cup. I was so excited to share with you. And I hope that whatever you want is coming for you. I hope you know that it's coming for you. I hope that you are willing to make the space and the time to Mercury in Libra as of the 6th. Slow the mind down and look and watch and question and understand that there is a sacred energy in every moment that you are alive. Virgo understands that the sacred of mundane everyday living, we are paying for life in time. So you don't have time to be wasting your energy on chaos if that's not where you're still at. So I hold space for you. I hope that you've watched the new moon video. Hopefully you make it through the horoscopes for September. There will be more chat going on around here as well. And if you have questions, you have comments, please share them down below. And truly, if you are looking for some guidance, leave it in the comment section down below in a general way. We have a delicious community. So Thank you so much. And it's so funny. You guys keep telling me happy birthday, but I'm like, I'm not a Virgo. I'm a Virgo rising. So it's like a rising birthday, but I'm actually a Taurus, and I have a Libra moon. So, but I take happy birthdays. I'll take a very merry unbirthday, right? I dig those as well. Anything to party. So, all right, my beautiful friends, I love you each a ton. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me today. Check out, if you don't know how to find some of these transits in your own chart, or if you need a chart, please get one from wherever you get one, from me or somebody else. But I'll put a transit video up here as well in the card so you can see that. And I'll also put the new moon video as a card so you can click right to it and check it out. All right. Bye, beautifuls.